which have been addressed that agrees, and that there is some perhaps merit where you would say at least test the law. If there are errors, we will amend it and we will improve it. If the draft itself can be changed over 3 days, 9th December it was tabled, then it was withdrawn, and 12th a fresh one was brought because there were words and there was numbers and it was pointed out there are errors. So there have been this government has even reworked the entire draft for our drone tech licensing and the drone Drone Act itself was, the whole draft was changed in less than 1.5 years, the whole act. So if there is merit, then yeah. But why oppose for opposing sake, Vivek Bansal ji? इस इन न्याय संहिताओं से तकलीफ क्या है? और जो सही में अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम था तो विपक्ष तो बाहर बैठा हुआ था. आपको तो ये डिबेट करना चाहिए था सदन में.
बैठा हुआ था, विपक्ष को बाहर बैठाया हुआ था. Deliberately they did not want that विपक्ष opposition should participate in the as far as threadbare discussion is concerned. विपक्ष को बिठाया गया है. विपक्ष the MPs had been suspended.
Vivek Bansal ji, sorry to interrupt. You please continue after my just 30-second intervention. If you and me agree that if you stand up on the bench, you will be asked to stand outside class, then there is an instruction which says we are discussing something important, and you decide to stand up on the bench, and you are standing outside class. So can you blame the person who's saying we are going to discuss something important, or should you blame the people who stood up on the bench?
No. There is some immediate provocation, and for that they wanted a discussion on that. So why just scuttle it?
They were sir, you know it very well. They were not suspended because they they protested. They were suspended because they protested in a manner which they themselves agreed attracts immediate suspension. That is holding a placard.
No. They basically wanted a discussion on, there was a serious breach of security, and I think
Vivek ji, you have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to hold a placard. You and me have agreed that any one of us who does it will attract immediate suspension. After that also you do it and you get suspended. Say, no, it's not my fault. You can't find me.
Oh, holding a placard, more of till the time you are registering your protest. You are what is the till the time it is non-violent. If the speaker is not,
then you and me should not have agreed. No, sir. Then we should not have agreed with Speaker Sanju Verma that if we hold the placard, we will be suspended. That's where it starts. My point is, sir, 18 bills have been passed without proper interventions and discussions and weighing in of the opposition in the Lok Sabha.
Heavens would not have fallen. Heavens would not have fallen if they would have gone for a discussion on the issue. Heavens would, and I think it was a serious matter in itself.
Sir, what was more serious? The Criminal Procedure Code and discussing these 18 bills, or to stand sure and say स्पीकर के बोलने से काफी नहीं है, रक्षा मंत्री के बोलने से काफी नहीं है, जब तक गृह मंत्री नहीं बोलते तब तक हम प्लाकार्ड लेके खड़े हो जाएंगे, बाहर खड़े हो जाएंगे लेकिन प्लाकार्ड लेके खड़े हो जाएंगे. Who is serious and who is not, sir?
आप डिस्कशन तो उस पे करते, आप उसके
बाद. No, sir. Okay, let's come back to the Nyaya Sanhita. Let's come back to the Nyaya Sanhita. Sir, have you read the 3 bills, sir? Have you read the 3 bills, or have you just decided because this government has done it, so it's draconian?
It is the responsibility of the treasury benches also. They should have gone. It was not.
Mr. Bansal, I am asking you, Mr. Bansal, I am asking. Like I said, you break a rule, you'll get fined, irrespective of who you are. You broke the rule, you hold the placard, you get suspended. Now, if you missed out on something important because you got suspended, then it's your fault. My question to you, sir, have you read the 3 bills? Do you have a problem with the 3 bills?
No. Having a problem, you see, that there would be no bill in itself is perfect. Let me tell you that. If you have a threadbare discussions, definitely you reach to a point where the grey areas, or where the suspicion of the opposition, or where there are some loose areas, they can be.
What is your single biggest concern with the 3 bills? What is your single biggest concern with this bill? Sir, Sumit Chander ji raised his objections. I am asking you, what is your single biggest concern that you would like the BJP spokesperson to address right now about these 3 bills?
Definitely, as you see, as we have been saying, police in itself have been, as it is, police as very, very arbitrary in this country, and with these bills, they would definitely, with these draconian bills, they would definitely further, bulldoze the general people. I don't say that.
Sir,
definitely, whatever criminals are there.
Okay, Vivek Bansal ji, are you willing to serve as a police officer at a police station for 2 weeks? And then will you hold the same opinion? Wear a khaki uniform, serve as a proper sub-inspector or an inspector or as an SHO in any place of your choosing. Wear it and then you tell me, sir, will you have the same opinion?
I would, Mr. Anand, I would also like to...
There is a former DGP of Uttar Pradesh in this panel who was part of the recommendations committee, and you are sitting here and just passing judgment on the entire police of our country. 1:720 people, that they are weaponized and they have too much of power. It is 1:720 people. That's the average 2 years ago, sir. That number has only gone up. And you are saying this. Okay, Sanju Verma.
Anand, I'm now getting into the debate 20 minutes hence. I have not heckled anyone. And it is very clear that, Mr. Bansal has not read any of the 3 bills because he refused to answer your pointed questions. He was simply going round and round in circles and, indulging in whataboutery. Now, I don't wish to be heckled. I'm making this very clear. What is it? I've not even started.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you. First and foremost, I think, let's be very clear that from bringing terrorism and organized crime under the ambit of ordinary criminal law, introducing gender neutrality in offences pertaining to children, to repealing section 377 that criminalizes homosexuality, I think the BNS is a watershed moment in criminal jurisprudence, and I'll tell you why. I read the bills not once, not twice, not thrice, but at least half a dozen times to get the larger picture. And what I found very interesting, Anand, is this, that this whole narrative that police has been given disproportionate powers is a whole lot of hogwash, because the magistrate has the authority to, dictate to the police whether the detention should be for 15 days, 60 days or 90 days. And if it is for 90 days, there are ample checks and balances that are in place to ensure that no law is weaponized by the police or anyone for that matter. But more importantly, I just want to tell Mr. Chander, because, he raised some very important points on definitions and, how certain nuances have been missed out. I think for the first time, if you look at clause 69 of the BNS, it obviously, ostensibly and very explicitly seeks to tackle this entire love jihad narrative by criminalizing deceitful promise to marry. The phrase sexual intercourse, not amounting to offense of rape, actually now criminalizes any sexual intercourse that has had between 2 individuals with either the promise to marry, with either the promise to give a promotion to one of the parties, with either the promise to ingratiate one of the parties, or with either the promise to mislead one of the parties under a false identity. And we know that in love jihad cases, the famous case of, Tara Sehdio, who was a national shooting champion, and she married a man thinking he was Ranjit Kohli. But finally it turned out that Ranjit Kohli nahi the, wo to kuch Salman, Atik, Ahmed, Soz, is biradari mein se aa rahe the. But more importantly, I think I always say the devil is in the details, and very quickly in 30 seconds, for the first time, the court has been said that you have to frame charges within 60 days. An FIR has to be registered on real-time basis and no later than 3 days. Then it is said that the preliminary probe has to be finished within 14 days. And then it says that further probe has to be finished within 90 days, 90 days of the charge sheet. The Sessions Court has to give its verdict within 30 days of the completion of the trial. And then it also, apart from introducing this entire concept of community service, which is pretty much a Western concept, but I think very much welcome. I think the fact that in a hit and run case, now they're clearly saying, over and above what was there earlier now, 10-year rigorous imprisonment. They are saying in the case of lynching and mob lynching, is something that has aroused so much of debate in the last 9.5 years. Clearly कहा गया है कि 7 साल की सजा mob lynching के cases में होगी. But more importantly, I think the definition of terrorism. I think this is very important, and I will just take 10 seconds to tell you. I was reading and I found that now the new bill says that terrorism is not just separatism. Terrorism is not just an act that destroys the safety, security, stability of the country, but terrorism also involves the use of criminal force against a public functionary. So the entire section 15 of the UAPA has been blanketly applied to ensure that the definition of terrorism is very comprehensive. But for me as a woman, what I find excellent is the fact that apart from EFIR, abhi bola gaya hai that the victim of sexual violence need not go to the police thana, because don't forget, Anand, that even today in rural areas, semi-urban areas, even very educated women, when they are victims of domestic abuse or sexual violence, they say, "Arey bhai, police station jayenge to badnami to khud ki hogi." Your statement will be recorded at your residence. And most importantly, apart from the whole concept of zero FIR having been empowered, I would like to tell Mr. Chander that he should also give credit to this government for clearly for the first time defining what cruelty is. If you read section 86(3), it clearly says what exactly comes under the ambit of cruelty, which was earlier not there under section 498A. Because remember, section 498A has been abused by women and has been abused by men also. So, clearly making this section 498 into a gender neutral law and bringing in section 86(3) to define cruelty, which leads to suicide. Because remember that suicide cases में ज्यादातर conviction होता नहीं है.